it sounds like you're willing to walk away from a client if it's just if you think that they're going to be a trouble client or um, you maybe just can't help them. Obviously, that you're not going to want to represent someone that you can't help. But um, at what point were you comfortable with that? Because at the beginning, a lot of times people want to take everything that comes through the door. So when were you comfortable with the with being able to just walk away?
Yeah, I am for being an introverted engineer inside of me. I have this weird, I don't know, need to develop relationships. And so, 'cause there's some childhood trauma behind that probably, but
Always
like
is, right?
like all good personality characteristics. Um, but so I try really really hard to establish relationships and to maintain those relationships. And I probably I will turn people away if they're not a good fit because I know that that's my tendency. Like I don't want to get I don't want to use the word attached, but I don't want to develop a relationship and then feel like how do I, because I in fact, one of my attorneys, the litigator Trevor, he says I know you pretty well. You have this hyper accountability issue. You are always trying to take accountability for the things that are anywhere within the realm of your influence. And it's true. It's just how I operate. And so if I when a problem happens, my first go to isn't, man, they really messed up. It's like, okay, that happened, and what could I have done differently on my end? What do I have control over that I could do differently to fix that? And so, for example, I have a client that I loved working with. We worked on several businesses with them for 4 or 5 years. As an individual, I like the team. I like the founder. And when they got into some, we should have scaled back our services, right? Because they were in these issues where payment was a problem. And instead, I offered to continue providing services at the same scale, partly because there was some litigation going on. And, then you're having these internal conversations like, what are my professional responsibilities to, finish this litigation versus terminate the relationship? But so all that's happening, and, it took me a long time to actually fire the client. And I know that about myself, which is why I'm hesitant now to get into relationships where there's a risk that the relationship might not work out. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It definitely does. Let's shift gears. I want to talk about leadership with you, and I wonder how you've had to adapt your leadership style as you started to grow with the firm, as the firm has begun to grow. So, I guess have you had to adapt your leadership style, and in what ways?
Yeah, I have to, and I don't profess to be like a standout prototype for leadership. I it's funny because last year we've got 5 attorneys on our team. We've had a few come in and out, and last year I did these regular monthly meetings with the team. Hey, let's talk about how do we do this and what do we do on a strategy call, and what does client experience really mean, and provide just things about the practice. And this year, I didn't put any on the schedule this year, and I just had my team come back and say, "Hey, can we do some more of those? We really need to have one of those on XYZ." And I thought, yeah, we probably do. So I don't know that speaks about my leadership style, but it shows that in a team setting, people look to have kind of, I don't know if it's leadership or even just build community. And by nature, because I started the firm, I guess they look to me to kind of head up that community. So
Yeah.
uh, it's probably something I could work on quite a bit more, though.
Well, the reason I wanted to ask you about that is because you'd mentioned that you had the attorney come to you about, your hyper accountability, and to me that seems like a pretty healthy culture because you're accountable as the owner, but they recognize that too. So I think a to me that shows that you're probably doing the right things.
It probably shows that I'm pretty transparent, at least.
Yeah.